Back in April of last year, we released the episode Clear Space Manila. We had a live Q&A with Jen a few days after the episode came out. A lot of people had some more questions they wanted to ask, so here we are with a lot of questions about crystals. We are joined by a few of the Discord peeps as they ask a few questions as well. Enjoy. Sige, so first of all, syempre, welcome to our guest. Jen, thank you for taking the time. Alam ko medyo busy ka, so thank you for being here to answer the questions of our listeners kasi marami silang follow-up. So, simulan ko lang sa mga naunang nag-question. Isang question is, Jen, how can you tell if authentic yung crystal and not just gas? I think the question here is because some people from different countries nagtanong nito eh. Paano niya malalaman? Kasi syempre hindi niya alam kung niloloko siya eh. Syempre mas dito naman mas sigurado ka. Pero how can... Oh, sige.
You know, I think it's always about due diligence. So, kunyari, someone is selling you a crystal, or like a big market for crystals is always on Etsy. You can always find any kind of crystals there. But it really takes like a lot of practice and attending gem shows to know what's real because walang fake sa gem show. So that's basically my metric. So when people ask me, some people like if you ask like my friends would tell me, oh, I went to Binondo or I went to like so and they told me to know the crystal, it has to be cold or like that. Glass is also cold.
Yes.
So there's really like a lot. There's a lot of like I would say fake crystals that's like floating around. But I think nowadays it's better because people are more aware of, especially the collectors. It is more disclosed now if it's altered or like manufactured. So if you're a new collector, I would suggest that you buy from reputable sources, which is like almost all on Instagram naman.
Okay.
But please, every time you see something, please do like a due diligence of your own because I've seen fake moldavites around the market, and I've also seen like real ones naman like from other sellers. But I don't want to like point out. I don't want to fight with other crystals for selling them. But it's a shame. But I feel like please do your due diligence. Like it's so easy to Google everything nowadays. Instead of Googling what is like for example, what is a rose quartz, ganyan, diba? Google na straight to the point. What is a fake? Show me a fake rose quartz, ganyan. Ganon. Kasi it's really easy now also to like do those searches. For me, in my store, yes, I've encountered suppliers. Very recently, actually, I saw the question here. I will talk about it later. Not all of my suppliers kasi are, sometimes kasi the suppliers that I've had relationships with, matagal na. But they're also... hindi rin sila ganun ka-aware. So, hindi kasi sila yung talagang at the front of customers.
Yes.
Like us. So, parang ako, I really have to do like due diligence. So, on my own, and then before I post anything. So, to answer that question, if you're a newbie and then you want to know if a crystal is real or fake, I would say if the price is too good to be true, start doing your due diligence. Sometimes naman, they mark up fake crystals too, but again, you just have to like do your share of like research lang talaga kasi marami pa ring hindi honest about it. Ako to a fault sometimes. Like ito, I saw a question from Silver number 4. I'm attracted to nuummite. What are the benefits of having a nuummite? So, but before I answer the question later, I just had the supplier send me a fake nuummite recently. Like I trusted the seller for the supplier for so long. So I messaged him. He said I have new materials and everything. It's like, oh, nuummite. I think I think I need those because I have like a client who's doing like a crystal study from abroad. Like, parang ano lang siya, programs states, tapos ginagawa dito. So, kailangan niya ng nuummite. So, ako naman, bilang, sige, ano ba bang kailangan? Sige, yun. And then, I received it, and I'm like, this is not nuummite. Though, yes. Though, the last time I got nuummite from him, it was a real one.
Okay.
Hindi niya. So, I had to like report it back to him. Yeah. So, ganun.
Medyo wala rin siyang due diligence sa part na yun. Parang, I guess, sa dami rin binibenta niya. Parang,
So, whether you're, I think if you're a person like me, I consider myself as the middle person, ano? So, kasi, siyempre from the suppliers, and then, yun yung chain eh. So, mas grabe yung pressure dapat sa seller mo to do their part. Kasi, pag hindi nila yun ginawa, it's hard. It could be a problem talaga.
We can follow up na rin sa question ni Silver na what are the benefits of having nuummite?
I think nuummite kasi is like it's a very rare stone, and it's really parang both ground. I would say there are crystals kasi, di ba? I talked about in the podcast. There's like there's an ascension crystal. There's grounding crystals. There's empath crystals, right? So I would say like nuummites are parang ano yan eh, parang hindi naman siya parang bad. Hindi siya bad crystal. There's no bad crystal. But like they call it as like parang you kind of like call on to an energy, parang tapping into an energy na parang stronger than you. So I think yun yung I like, especially like with my client who asked for nuummite since she was studying crystal healing. Parang yun nga, parang you have to you're channeling a bigger energy. Though it's a dark crystal, it also keeps you like grounded. So parang this transformation, it kind of like gives you ability that you kind of like you admit to yourself that you might not have. So you wanna tap into nuummites. Maraming crystals na ganun though, but I think nuummite is like every time there's a request, it's always like because of tapping of bigger energies yourself. Like you have this energy and you tell yourself parang ganun. So if you're attracted to a nuummite, you might be needing it, parang kailangan mo siya. Kailangan mo yung energy ng parang bigger than you to like achieve something or manifest on something or like maybe even like tame yourself on something, ganun.
Ang next question is, okay, so we got a question from, I think Lex. This is from Discord. Based siya sa US and I don't think maka-join siya. After listening to the episode nga, biglang interesado siyang maghanap ng black tourmaline. So, nasa LA daw siya. Sabi niya, na-mention mo daw, meron ka mga suki doon. So, if you can mention daw so he can look.
There's only this one place that I go to in LA. If a short time that I'm going to be in LA. I've been to some, but the most transformative for me to go to is the one is it Melrose? It's Crystallarium, LA. If you see they've been like around for so long also. But their collection is really like beautiful and the people there really like believe in the power of crystal. So sometimes you say you go into a crystal shop, it's really like just a crystal shop. So alam mo yun, parang hindi mo you wouldn't be able to talk to like people there, parang ganun or ganun. Like ako, I admit hindi ko naman alam lahat ng like what I also work with are very basic crystals because I know that some of the crystals multi-purpose naman. Diba? So, ganun. So, yun, I have like, yun nga, Lemurian, like what we talked about. And then I have like, some other crystals that it's always on my rotation.
Sige. Another question is from Les naman. So she said, I got a set of crystals from an antique toy shop. I was lucky to find them it's as if I was called to them right when I was starting my collection. So her question is it okay to have crystals na second hand? They don't look fake but pero tiny chunks lang. So okay lang. So is there a way na
Okay lang.
parang to cleanse them before
Yeah,
you? Oh,
definitely. Especially if they're okay. The most basic way this is based on experience. Most basic way of clearing your crystals is not really smudging. You can wash them really quickly. Pero pag mga selenite, you have to know that they're also minerals, they're from the earth. So they have like, they might be gypsum based, so they can get wet, ganyan. Pero kung quartz yan, jasper, yung more stable crystalline structure, you can quickly wash them. Like, as a symbolism of not really like washing them, but like you put them in running water or like whatever it is that and then you, as a symbolism for you as the user, the new user, now it's cleared, right? Or second, you can also smudge them, palo santo or white sage or whatever you want, whatever feels comfortable using. So through smoke, and then you can first, what I always tell my clients, you always thank the crystal first. Parang thank you for coming into my life, and there's a reason for us meeting, ganyan. But now I clear you of whatever is programmed within you, and now I will reprogram you to my whatever purpose that you can help me with, ganon. So it's very, I don't really like to say that it could be more complex of programming or ganyan. But yun nga, as with the podcast, I said na parang just write it down. Like if you have a second-hand crystal, you just write down like if what crystals are these, and then okay, what am I programming each crystal for? Sobrang simple lang. Like, let's say you have a clear quartz there, just say clarity or clarity, and then the reason why you needed clarity so that I can focus on something more. Very practical reasons. So it's not too tedious of a job to keep. You have to keep up with your crystals. No, it has to be like synergetic. Parang kailangan, parang friends lang kayo, ganon. It has a great reminder, ganon. And I don't really mind like secondhand crystals. Like the last time like just this very recent trip, I've had the chance to talk to my clients, and they're really paano ba, dismayado in a sense. I mean, not my clients, my suppliers, because some of their crystals are really parang stripped away from them.
why? Bakit yun?
So, parang na-mass produce, let's say, sa China or
Yes.
ganun. But, like, that's why material is getting more scarce. That's why everything is getting more expensive. Because, compared to the labor naman elsewhere, like in Brazil versus China, of course, cheaper sa China. So, there's really nothing wrong with crystals from China. But this is just their sentiments. So, so then I realized it's not really wrong to get from one place or one place, because it's a trade. It's
Yes,
a normal occurrence, it's business. But what at my level, what can I do? So I encourage used crystals, secondhand crystals, rotate. If you don't need it, trade. If someone needs it, trade. Because even if there's no monetary exchange there's this energy, at least, that your crystal is going to someone who actually needs it. Because you can always just reprogram it, eh. And then if the person accepts it, diba, ganyan. And I also believe in, yun nga, parang there's sustainability there. Tsaka okay, diba, umikot yung energy, maayos, parang hindi ka, you don't acquire so much.
Yes.
You don't acquire so much, and then you like, there's also questions and with like my clients, can I give it to someone? So secondhand na yun, diba? So I'm like, definitely you should. If your friend needs it, if you feel like your friend needs it, go ahead. Just give it to them, clear it first, since you're the one who's giving the gift. Edi klaruhin mo na yung crystal, and then just give it to them. With your whole heart, wish it well.
Paano mo ki-clear? in a simple way. Paano siya i-clear?
Yeah, you just parang cleanse the crystal. Like yung mga crystal, like yun nga, I always start with, if you acquire a crystal, if you take home a crystal, and let's say there's an immediate purpose for it. Sometimes kasi people buy and buy and buy, right? So marami ka ng collection, but you know, you're knowledgeable what this crystal can do for you, ganyan. Pero hindi mo siya kailangan now. There's really nothing wrong with that. Sige lang, you know, like yun nga, I said nga, para siyang first aid kit. So, okay, right now, this is what I need. I get this, and then I get this, and I get this. So I get like 3 crystals. And then, or let's say you buy 3 crystals. So it galing sa store or galing sa online seller. When it gets to you, just simply parang, actually, i-alpha mo na yung crystal mo. I'm your boss now. You are mine now. Ganon. I think crystals love it Parang they have a belonging, you give them a purpose. You give them the purpose of like, okay, you're here with me, which is one of the most common problems that I get asked what crystal for. Yun, so you get like something like for self-love, but I always say, actually, you need confidence also after a breakup. So you need like a confidence crystal, ganyan. So they buy those things and said, okay, when it gets to you, honestly with me, I know my clients know this, but I most often send a Palo Santo with the crystals. I always send, or if I don't send something, if I don't send a Palo Santo, on the next purchase, lagi yan meron, always. Like, laging merong at least pang-clear. Kasi sobrang importante siya sa akin yung pag-clear ng crystals. Kasi that's the only way it's sustainably useful. So if you feel like the crystal is depleted, go ahead and do your ritual, cleanse the crystal, and then clear yourself, cleanse your space. So it's always thanking the crystal and then telling the crystal what you need and that you are programming this crystal for this certain manifestation, and then leave it there. And if you want to remember kung ano yung pinoprogram mo, just write it down, like make a journal. I've learned to like journal, but I've also learned how to put just notes on my phone, so it's easier for me to access. And then sometimes, like I do this, like, okay, I need, mostly kasi I need grounding. Sobrang taas lagi ng lipad ko. So parang, ganun So parang, okay, I need to ground myself. And then so I work with a dark crystal, smoky quartz or like black tourmaline or ganyan. And then I feel better, like, because hindi siya right away So sometimes it takes me like 5 days or sometimes like 3 weeks ganyan to clear this. I know kasi I need some grounding for some sort of like reason So once it dissipates, so alam ko na okay, this crystal reminded me that I have to like let go of things or like this, diba? And then so we work together. And then now I'm done with the crystal. I clear it again and put it back on the shelf. And then it's ready for me. And then once it's ready, once I need it again, I just grab it back and then I clear it again, and then that's it. I thank it again that it's there, and then I program it, and then just yung pausok, and then that's it. But most of my clients, they know that. Usually I send like a sample size. I receive probably like 200 kilos of Palo Santo a year. So that's really a lot.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a lot. So, not all Palo Santo can be sold kasi yung iba talagang chipped or like this, ganyan. So those pieces I send. But recently I don't have chip pieces. So my clients are very lucky. I've been sending regular size Palo Santos. So yun. But it's good kasi with one Palo Santo stick, it lasts you like a long time, especially if you're but if one stick can last you probably, for me, a week and a half if I do it every day.
If every day, okay. EJ, if you're there, I think may question ka na wala lang sa akin about your...
I think I saw it.
Ay, okay, sige.
I am attracted to lapis lazuli and green agate. What does that mean? But now I am wearing tiger's eye with volcanic stone. See, okay. So, yun nga. So, ang influence ko talaga when it comes to crystals is really more like on the chakra, the body, the auric body, the colors of the body. Like one time I went to Japan and there's like a aura meter. I did that because I'm crazy.
Okay.
So, you sit down, you put your hand on the parang metal pad, and then it measures the aura in your body. There's a machine. It's made in Germany. I wanted one, but it was so expensive. So my husband's like, no, you're crazy. So, okay. So I put my hand there, and my aura around me, there were two layers, yellow and green. So if you're attracted to lapis
Question,
lazuli,
may lumalabas na color? I mean, it prints out your aura, gano'n?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
You know what?
Okay.
I should find that picture and send it to you. I'll show
Sige.
you. Yeah. Kasi they send you a picture eh. And then my husband has almost the same. Syempre, baliw ako. Upo ka rin.
Oo.
Doon."
Oo.
So, so it kind of like shows how we have the same energy, ganyan. So, if you're attracted to like lapis lazuli and green agates or, you know, lapis lazuli really stirs the intellect. That's like always my that stirs the intellect. So if probably you're studying or like you're like trying to learn something, ganon. And then green, anything that's green naman is connected to the heart. It's like not love per se or like love life per se. It's usually just like mostly what is the heart dealing with? What is this energy on the chest that you're dealing with? What is heavy there or what is light there? What do you think is the purpose of this feeling? I think that's when you can start looking into it. But now I'm wearing tiger's eye with volcanic stone. So yeah, tiger's eye kasi is like the soul yellow, right? So parang yellow crystal. So let's try it this way. The crown is white, so it's the top of your head, and then you also use purple crystals there, and then your eye usually blue, and then your throat, which speaks also blue, but not necessarily merong mga crystals na hindi ganong color, and then it activates on different chakras. And then your heart is green, and then your solar plexus, which is in your gut feel, your tummy, is yellow. And then your sacral chakra, which is your puson area, red, orange, yung mga ganyang strong colors. And then your root, sa ilalim ng katawan mo bago mag-legs. Yun. That is your root, that is your base. So when you're very aware, like my crystal energy healers would always say, this is what is blocked with you. That's the crystal you should use. That's the crystal color that you should use. So sometimes I notice with my clients that when they have this affinity with color, or like they're like, Jen, you know what? I just bought an amethyst from you, but I think I want another amethyst. Ganon. So it might be telling you something, not if you're not coming from a collection standpoint. It might be telling you something. So yun. So I said, okay, sige. So we deal with that, and then ayun nga. So that's the color. You can search it. It's very easy. You can look at the 7 chakras of the body, and then you can see the color. So usually that's what corresponds to the energy you might be attracted to, or like what you need to work on. Ganon. So if you're attracted to like lapis lazuli or green agate, those are probably the 2 chakras that need like attention from you. But if you're wearing tiger's eye, it depends how long have you been wearing it. Did you program it for what it is, like for willpower, determination. Yan si tiger's eye. Parang ganon. So and there's always like a connection. You can connect them. You can connect your brain, your let's say your crown chakra. You can connect it to your sacral chakra to finally get into whatever you're trying to manifest, right? As I was like, a good example is when people ask you, ano bang okay po na crystal po sa love life, mga ganon. Usually they really point out to rose quartz So, yeah, but which is true naman kasi, but rose quartz talaga is really like a unconditional love, self-love kind of crystal. But I said, alam mo, is it possible that you also don't have the courage to ask someone out? And they're like, definitely, I do not have that ability. So get a crystal that encourages you to speak, let's say, anything blue, which is from the throat chakra also. So your communication. So that when you talk, hindi ka naman sumablay. So you parang ganon. And then the courage crystals, which is stored in the sacral area, which is like orange, red, ganyan. So those are the crystals that you need. You might not need rose quartz at all because you're already full of love that you're ready to give, right? You're ready to. So that's what I always said. And then there's always, in the correspondence of the color chakras. Very recently, with the wave of people dying from coronavirus, I have a lot of clients who've been asking me like grieving crystals, right? And in energy healing, kasi parang it is stored in the root, yung grieving. It weighs you down. It's stored in your root. But so when you work with black crystals, hopefully you release it. Hopefully, not naman, you can't release grief eh. Parang hindi siya hindi naman siya parang, how can you let go of someone right away, right? So parang marami lang heaviness in that area. So you ground yourself to, like, yung kung ano ka without grief is very different from who you are with grief. So parang if you work with black crystals, like grounding crystals, then it brings you back to yourself. Like it could be also a realization na I'm lucky, I'm still around. But recently, it's very unfortunate. But I've sent out a lot of obsidians. I've sent out a lot of very recently, like to clients I know, matagal ko ng client, and then they tell me ganyan. I just send, like, if I have some, I really send it out even for free sometimes because my heart couldn't take it sometimes. Parang ganon. So it's a corresponding thing. So for crown, it's really ascension. If you want to be a better person, or I wouldn't say a better person, mabait ha. I would say a bigger person. Yun nga, with there's communication crystals, there's heart crystals, and then there's like, ganon. So wala pa yung mga shapes, no? Wala pa yung mga
wala
shapes.
pa yung shapes. So.
Yeah, so yun.
Segue ko na sa question ni AR. AR, I'm not sure if makaka-read si Miss Jen ng energy just by looking at the person. Pero my question niya is, can you recommend by just looking at the energy of the person or may interview portion ba? So yung tanong mo, AR, is gusto mo magpakita para malaman ko ano ma-recommend sa'yo? Ganun ba?
Okay. Okay. You know what? I'm
pa-reading
not
pala to.
really
No, hindi. Hello guys, hindi naman po na pa-reading. It's just that kanina sabi mo when may client and then you ask for something, parang ganun. Or by just looking at the person, ay parang ito ang kailangan mo. Parang ganun.
Usually kasi I ask them Talagang ako talaga chismosa, mausisa. As in talagang parang, kasi they're very honest naman with me. And they're very honest. Like, I just went through a breakup. I didn't get the promotion. All these like, Miss Jen, I didn't get the promotion I wanted. Ganyan. What is the crystal to like, you know what? I think you should ground yourself. Grieve about it. So, like, that's how practical I am when it comes to like telling my clients how to grieve about it, and then you can work from there. And then sometimes, since I remember what crystals they get from me, it's been 5 years, I would always still remember like what crystals they get from me. And then, meron ka na niyan, wag ka na bumili. Like, memorize ko na. So parang don't get na ganyan, you need this. So you can work with that first. And then if you need something else, then we can look for you. But yun nga, parang, I don't, since it's almost always online naman. I don't get to like see the person. And sometimes also, I must admit, my crystal energy healer and my energy healer friends have already taught me to like block out, like if it's not within my energy, like the empath side, to like cut anything that they feel like will steal my energy from me. So since I deal with it on a daily basis, I've learned how to be more pragmatic about these things. Like, yun. But when it comes to education, I have no problem. Like I always tell my clients, let's always get to the root of things. So, hindi naman ako completely, I don't shut down my clients. So it's more of like, let's work on it. Let's try to see what really is the root cause of things. Yun nga, parang sabi ko nga, baka hindi naman rose quartz kung love life, di ba? Baka talagang wala lang confidence talaga or kulang lang talaga sa pakyut or something. There are crystals for that. There's crystals for everything. So, ganun. Thanks for the question. For sure, meron akong mga kilalang mga energy healers. Isang tingin pa lang sa'yo, alam na nila. Oo, ganun. But they have that energy for that. Talagang sila eh. Yung talagang equipped for that. They can handle it right away. And they have clearing techniques para sila mismo hindi din sila affected. That's why galing. I mean, I think the training sometimes when they do like methods and like practices, meron always sa mga classes nila na parang how do you parang flush it out after, like parang para hindi sa'yo mapunta yung energy or else you get affected, right?
So, actually, yun ang next question ko with regards to that. Which crystals are good for removing or parang blocking yourself, parang ganun, like you said, na parang kasi may mga empath eh. Oo. May mga nasa group na empath, ano daw yung best to block?
What crystals or how?
What crystals?
Honestly, if you're an empath, I would suggest purple crystals as well because those are also protective and at the same time, it protects you it gives you not a happy feeling, I would say, a more parang, kasi parang ang amethyst, ganyan eh. Ganyan din ang ginagawa niya. Parang it's a grounding crystal as well. That's why I call amethyst like the gateway drug of crystals. Okay. Because you can use it in so many ways. You can use it like in grounding, protecting your family, ganyan. So, I think parang ganon. Parang it's not completely, there are crystals that you can really use over and over for those things.
Next question naman is from Silver and may isa pa nag-question. Same question sila. Do crystals have a guardian spirit or attached entity or spirit?
You know what? Kasi parang I've heard people receiving crystals, then they feel that there's something in there. So I feel like if you do that, that's why I always send nga Palo Santo, always. Kasi I want people, when they receive the crystal, to always clear it first. Diba? Parang so may usok yung Palo Santo. So I always say, I send a short literature on how to clear your space and clear yourself and clear crystals. So basically the same. A crystal, a human being, and a space is treated as one. So, when you clear the crystal, kasi parang you tell nga the spirit that may have lived in the crystal to go with the smoke. So fly away, dissipate, go away. But with the question of like guardians, ganyan. You can tap into some certain crystals that are believed to be angel crystals. Like one good example is seraphinite. It's a green crystal from Russia. And it is believed to be the crystal of the angel seraphim. So when you want to tap into like those kind of energies, kasi hindi ako masyado din adept with all the angel powers ganyan. But that not all angels look like angels. But that's what I know. When you look at certain angels, they look like animals and monsters, but they're angels.
Wait, Jen, hindi mo na kwento sa amin yan. So nakakita ka
Hindi.
Okay. Kala ko nakakita ka angels.
You see illustrations. If you search for angels, you can see they're not all in human being with wings form.
Yes.
So, ganon. So, yun, like with seraphinite, they said na yun nga, parang you tap into like the seraphim energy, the angel seraphim's energy. And then they say that blue lace agate can tap into Saint Michael's, the Angel Michael. Yun, ganun. So, merong crystals that are parang attached to an angel, and then you can use that. But when I think the question is if there's a crystal guide, or like a guide already in the crystal. Um, I think it's basically, I would say it's usually, with my practical answer, it's better to program it yourself. And if you want to tap yung mga that can help you, angels or saints or ganyan, you can do that as well. Meron kasing, medyo technical na. So, there's a crystal, in Lemurians or like clear quartz or any quartz that are raw. When you look at the shape of crystals or the tip of the crystals, like, I'll turn on my camera.
Yes,
Sige.
go lang, Jen.
So,
Nag-blush ka na naman eh.
nag-blush na naman ako. So,
Oo.
hi, this is what I look like.
Hello.
Hi. So, you can see here, like, ito raw. This is a Lemurian, but there are two kinds of Lemurian. So, do you see this, the laser? You know what? I don't know why my background is blurry, but okay, here. So, this is a laser Lemurian. Usually lasers are, yun nga, tapered, right? And there's facets like the faces, right? And then there's also like just like itong mga ganitong Lemurian that can allow you to have, usually lasers have three points, but they have 3 points sa dulo. But a Lemurian, they're both Lemurians, but this one has a like complete facets, so it has 6 sides. And one of the faces here, I counted a while ago, has 7 sides. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So when you have, it's called a trans, then you have 7 and then at 2 triangles, if you can see. So there's 2 triangles there. Now it becomes a channeler. So that's the power of, the Lemurian. So you have a channeler.
Paano
Ngayon,
channeler? Sorry, Jen.
So now, when you use Lemurians, that's what they say, like you can channel certain angels or certain like powers that you want to tap into, or ganon. So yun yung sinasabi, if you want to call on like a higher being, then that's it. And then so yun. And then there's also the trans channeler where you can, if it is 7 sides and then a 3-sided one, and then 3-sided one, and then another 7, and then 3. So basically, it wraps around 7, 3, 7, 3, 7. It is the trans channeler, meaning you can call on as much help. Use that crystal. So every time, that's why every time I post Lemurians, I sit with it because I look at it. And then my clients know this. When they buy a Lemurian or any, even clear quartz from me, sometimes darating yan puro post-its.
Okay.
Meron yun akong note, okay, this one is a trans-channeler, I
Okay.
see this, like this, like this, like this. And they can just, Google it. But like this one has 5 sides. It is yan. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know if you can see it.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
5 sides. It is the Isis face. So ISIS. So Isis face. So it taps daw into the Isis goddess. So ganon. So pag kulang ka ng konting yin, or like you want to channel your inner goddess, yan, si Isis face, you work with it. Ganyan. Marami siyang parang klase ng pwede mong i-tap into. So with the question, if they come with guides and everything, I wouldn't say guides, but more so for me, the shape or like how it came to you, they all have a purpose. Like merong mga certain purpose na ganyan. Like with this, sorry, I'll take off the tip. Like this one, this is mine.
Okay.
But I put it as sold on the page because everyone wanted it. I'm like, no, but I can't say no. So no one asked kasi pag sold na. So this one has, like, if you can see, it has a very matte finish, but it's like chip, diba? It's a full, they call it imprint. So those imprints you can use for yun nga, parang the word itself, it's imprinted with special energy. So yun yung that's why I liked it so much kasi yun, it has everything that I want. So yun nga. So kaya nga sabi ko medyo powerful talaga yung Lemurians kasi I think it's not because Lemurians are expensive, that's why there's like so much regard to it. But in Lemurians kasi you can see marami kang makukuhang shape. Marami kang makukuhang extra ability in a crystal. So, but there are normal crystal quartz na points also na mayroong mga shapes, mayroong mga abilities. So, yun. So, for me, that's what I subscribe to, like those extra forces, extra energies. That's what I use. So if people would ask nga kung may ganyan guides or whatever, I would say look into your collection, especially the raw ones kasi hindi naman talaga siya. It has to be raw to have that ability, right? Because it has to come to you naturally.
Yes.
In a natural way. So yun, and then those things you can tap into. But I can also post like the resource that I research on
Sige.
the website.
Sige.
Let me do it now so I don't forget.
Sige. While you're doing that, may follow-up question. Sorry, nag-skip ako ng questions ng iba pero relevant lang to what Jen was saying. Is the Lemurian crystal almost the same as with using nuummite? Nuummite, is it almost the same?
Kasi nuummite is nga parang you're tapping into like a bigger energy that
yes, oo.
Yeah, diba? Ganon. Lemurians kasi is really like ascension.
Okay.
Trying to become as with all ascension crystals, it's really like, the word itself, ascending. It's you basically tap into it to become ascended. Paulit-ulit.
Yes,
But it's like,
okay lang.
your level of understanding, your ability to have more patience, your ability to but with nuummite, I think when you're manifesting for something, when you're manifesting for something bigger, or like you won't need a bigger ability or a bigger energy to achieve something. Ganun. Yan.
Sige, thank you for that. From Tammy naman, may question siya. I read your post about how many ambers are faked. Can I ask if the ambers from, I don't know how to pronounce, Chiapas, Mexico are...
They're really I saw it nga here. Because I bought some, tas ang mahal. Kasi mahal talaga yun.
Okay.
The mineral, I've seen it. I think I have a couple in my collection. Mahal yung ambers from Mexico. And then sometimes they're small. And then ang mahal. They're really expensive.
Pero okay naman. I mean, hindi naman siya fake kay Mexico.
No. The Mexican Chiapas ambers are one of the prettiest ambers I've seen. So, mahal talaga siya. Okay. So, I don't know I think mostly yung nafi-fake na crystal is yung nafi-fake na amber, you can sometimes sa totoo lang yung mga oversell, yun talaga yung mga minsan fake. Like you would see this, parang paulit-paulit sila na grabe daming insect inside or ganyan. Yung supplier ko mismo ng amber would say you would see their crystals probably you'd see like 5 in like a big piece or like ganyan or like ganun. But you wouldn't see like 200 of them in one polished piece. Yan. Pag ganyan, medyo mag-isip-isip ka na. Kasi insects kasi can make it more expensive eh. Parang it makes it more parang rare
Valuable.
na natuluan, it's like a resin from a tree. So parang, like, sa buenas mo naman buong colony yung
Oo, nakuha mo. Oo.
nakuha, diba? So, yun. So, that's what my supplier told me. Sabi niya, basta yung parang, but yun nga. So, I get my ambers from Poland. Yun, so Baltic area.
So marami doon?
Oo, pero hindi ako laging kumukuha. Kasi
Okay.
I really look for a piece na talagang maganda or like worth it iuwi. Though magaan siya, but it's not cheap. It's not ambers are very expensive. They're very light and then they're so expensive. Yeah. So, as I recently just like sent someone an amber. Like I sold one. But we've been looking for the perfect amber for like years. Like probably like before the pandemic pa. She was looking for one. And then I said, okay, next year, pagpunta ko ng gem show, I'll look for one.
Look for one,
Walang gem show kasi nga may pandemya. So, hinintay talaga niya. So, nung punta ko, wala. At sabi ko, hindi ako pwedeng umuwi ng walang amber. So, yun. But it's really like a beautiful piece. It's light. It's big. It only has like probably like 2 to 3 insects inside. But she really loved it. Then you can also test fake ambers. I think it's been mentioned to me before. You can test it with like water or something. Mga ganyan. But I didn't try because alam
Trust
ko
mo naman yung
fake. Hindi fake yung mga nadala ko. Yun. I've tested, I think once I did it in my story, lapis lazuli na fake. Pero hindi naman, I just proved na hindi fake yung sa akin because I think that week 2 of my clients asked for because they think that it's fake. I said, just put alcohol and then if it rubs off, then it's
okay.
Then it did.
Okay. So alam na.
Yun.
Okay. Next question naman is from Sai. Sabi niya, para saan po ang Moonstone? Are you familiar with Moonstone?
Di ba yung female energy? It's really like tapping into your female energy. Like sabi nga nung yung crystal mentor ko sa States, every being, whether you're a boy or girl, whatever in between, we all have female and male energies. So if you feel like too much yung male, yung yin, yung yang, you use a moonstone to balance it out. And then you can also use moonstone. I think it's also great for sleep. I have one client, she just gave birth and then she wanted a moonstone. And then I didn't have a moonstone. So I tried looking for one. And then she said she found one. And then she said she was able to sleep. So sabi ko, talaga siguro it's really calming. But it doesn't make you sleep, right? It's not like a sleeping.
Yes,
You sit with it, you meditate with it. Mabilis and restful sleep. So
if you are a tarot reader, which crystal suits you? Meron bang tarot readers na nag-consult sa'yo for that?
All my reader friends are selenite hoarders. So
parang cleansing, ganun?
Yeah. I think it's because you don't want the energy of who you're reading. Honestly, yun lang yung tingin kong, teka, sorry. I need to get back.
Props ka dyan. Okay.
Yeah. So yun, I would say, yun nga, parang selenite because it clears everything and also they like clearing the deck. So they clear the deck as well. So after reading, they put the selenite there and then they clear it. Kasi selenites are very, parang nag-clear talaga siya and nag-charge. So yung selenites kasi, so they put selenites on the deck. So every shape, sometimes when I sell like selenites, I need that
Pacquiao.
shape.
Okay.
So, yun. So, laging selenites, Yun based on my experience. So, maybe if you're starting with trying to read, ganyan, maybe selenite can also clear your energy, so you also don't absorb other people's energy.
In connection with that, Tammy asked, is it okay to cleanse using selenite instead of smudging?
I think it charges also, so it's also okay. But I think it's more of like smudging is more of like the ritualistic end of
Yes.
clearing. Eh. It's really like that release, So it does selenites are believed to like clear crystals around it, so it's not bad if you don't have a set schedule of clearing and charging your pieces. So, but yun nga, smudging is really like a more ritualistic approach, because rituals can really makes you breathe, it makes you calm down, it brings you down, it feels, like unloading. So, parang ganun. I think that's a difference between selenite and if you're clearing with
Smudging.
something like a smoke or
Ito yung earlier tinanong ko na sa'yo. Are you aware of the crystalline grid of Earth?
alam mo,
And if,
hindi ako masyado adept dun sa mga
yes.
mga grid. But yun nga yung parang sinasabi ko na parang 'di ba when there's like the grids that people use with crystals, they work is like mga flower of life, Metatron's grid, the Fibonacci sequence. That's what I was telling you a while ago, 'di ba? Parang yun nga, parang even like the last time I went to the Smithsonian Museum in the States, they had they had like a showcase about the Fibonacci sequence and how it's the same as like a fern, it's the same as like ammonite. So universally, I think it's accepted that the sequence and like all these like grid forms are used in in healing.
In connection with that, to Silver's question rin, kasi with regards to healing, which hand, ito, I'm not sure if familiar ka, pero which hand do you wear protective crystals?
Me?
Oo. Is it left or right?
You know what? I'm not sure. But I usually wear mine on the left. Yeah, but people it depends eh. Parang kasi like I've seen people kaliwete, they don't wear anything on their. Yeah, but they said na meron niyang purpose. But what I also heard is that people don't let other people touch their wearables because they've cleansed it. It has to be just theirs, ganyan, diba? But I think I'm not sure. I think can you guys please educate me because I don't know like if you want to wear it on the left or the right. Because I'm more of like I like my big crystal, so I don't wear so much of the wearables because I have kids. Ilang
Yes.
beses na.
Nasira.
The black tourmaline, I went to the gem show in the States, so I wore black tourmaline. Just for like, because all the people that you talk to also have energies. And it's been a while since I've been that, parang out.
Social. Oo.
Yes. Ganyan. So I said, I think I need the black tourmaline also for myself to ground myself because I'm so scared of virus. I have kids. I have 2 kids. I don't want to bring home anything. So parang I feel it. It's like I'm scared. So ayun, after probably like 3 days, nasira ng pintas because I have kids.
Okay.
So yun sabi ko parang dapat ano yata to. I just bring like a chunk and put it in my purse. I think it's more me. This is the resource that I'm always fascinated by kasi by the shapes of the crystals that come to me, especially the natural ones. So yeah, every time I see like forms and shapes like formations in a crystal, I just go to crystalgen.com and then just type what do you call this? Kunyari, if you want to like know certain parts of a crystal, what does it mean, like the pastime link or ganyan. Or you can just read there so you can learn more about the crystal. Yeah. It doesn't have that. It doesn't follow na meron ka ng crystal names where you have to research. When you read this resource, it's really you can really get excited about the raw collections that you have, especially the quartz. Kasi matitignan mo na parang, uy, baka meron na ako noon or meron akong ganyan, I can use it. You know? So, yun. Kasi like there are books that actually say that actually is focused on like color healing, like mga Judy Hall books, mga ganyan, mga Crystal Bible, ganyan. It basically tells you a lot about like more color healing. So mga chakras, ganyan. So ganun. But Crystal Jen, she knows a lot about formations. So when you go to like crystal shops, which is now gonna be more exciting. So if you go to crystal shops and you see like mga raw pieces, you're gonna start looking for all those like extra abilities. So, which makes it more fun, honestly. So that's how I do it. Like when I go to gem shows. So that's how I pick the pieces. I'm like, oh, okay, this one has this, and
Yes.
that's it.
So next is from Tammy again. Which is the best for synergy? Anong crystal yung
You know,
best
they
for
have this Synergy 12 crystals, diba? So it's a collection of 12 expensive crystals that people collect. I think back in 2017, I had like a monthly synergy stone. So for the 12 months, I also started collecting it. So I started with it's 12 crystals. So I started January. So I started looking for, I already have moldavite. So I was okay with that. And then petalite. And then all these 12 following crystals. I think the hardest one was tanzanite for me. And I think it was only 4 people who joined in collecting in the collection with me. So I asked my clients, hey, I'm gonna start finally doing the Synergy 12 crystals. Anyone who wants in, just let me know. So kasi nahirapan din sila mag-source. So that's what we did. I think 2018. Yan. So for me, which is the best synergy crystal? It depends on what you react to. I'm really bad with petalite. Well, I'm really good with petalite. I would just say it's bad because it gives this heavy pressure on my forehead. It's really like it's a big, if some people say this about moldavites, petalite does this to me. So for me, it is the best because it's really like ascension. Every time I have one always. And then every time I needed, let's say, even like most mundane of things, road rage sample.
Yes.
Yung pag nasobrahan ka ng konting ganon, I like think about like what crystals do I have here that will make me not calm down, but think clearly, think pragmatic, more practical, ganyan. And then, okay, don't. Because, and then I just put like all these like, not overthinking, but reasoning in my head that, you don't know who you're talking to. You might be also like going through something. So you kind of like rise above. So ascension, yun nga, it's an ascension crystal. So for me, that's my favorite, and that is for me the best synergy crystal. So it could be moldavite for some because moldavite is like a purging crystal. So yun, okay din naman siya. Okay din yung moldavite because you kind of like learn about a lot about yourself. Kasi pinupurge mo yung mga hindi na para sa iyo. Hindi ikaw yung parang pinupurge na ng crystal na okay, for you to be a better person or the person that you want to become, this is what you need to purge, like maybe some sort of addiction or some sort of, addiction doesn't just come in forms of like substance or whatever, but you can be addicted with time with your friends. So it's taking away time for more work for you, or like, so it purges it. Like it makes you see what you don't really need. So it simplifies your life to get to the goal that you want. So yun nga, diba, I think in the podcast I've mentioned I have like CEOs wear moldavite
Yes.
clothes, ganon. So it's fun to see. I can't disclose names.
Oo.
My clients are my
Okay
clients.
lang.
Yun.
Okay
But
lang.
they wear those moldavites inside their suits or
Tumbled na yun.
no, these are raw. That's yeah, raw, and then kasi before nakakakuha pa ako ng raw na ano may kunyari pendant, merong konting maliit na pendant, ganyan, or like a gem cut. Yun, most of my clients like gem cuts, but I just sell the gems. I actually point them to, like, if they don't know any
Alahero
jewelry,
na
whatever,
mag-ano.
ganun. Pero mostly, yung mga gem cuts because they wanna wear it daily. Parang hindi naman parang bato na nakasab siya. But yung mga iba talaga, trust me, they're like wearing 25 grams worth of moldavite every single day. As
In
in, like,
different parts of their body, ganun.
hindi
Meron
naman.
sa hands or talaga sa ano lang,
Oo,
sa,
like,
sa
kunyari
necklace lang.
necklace, ganyan. So, necklace, they wear it, ganyan. You wouldn't know na parang this person is trying to, like, not purge, but well, they believe it's a power crystal. So, if you believe something, yun nga sinasabi ko, di ba? When it comes to crystal, and you believe in its ability, it is going to work for you. But let's say, like, is as with anything, di ba? Let's say, poste ng Meralco, may punong malalaglag. Alam mo naman, naniniwala ka na yung poste ng Meralco na yan. Hindi ba bagsak yung bunga ay yung tangkay dyan kasi alam mo yun,
Oo.
mapoprotektahan yung bahay mo or whatever.
Yes, oo.
As long as you believe in it, ba parang you attract it. Ganun.
Yes.
So, ganun. So, it's always like that. So, most of the people who, for me those who wear moldavites, ganun, yung hatak sa kanila, they feel like they can invincible. They feel like they can do anything that they put their hearts and minds in. So, galing.
Galing.
But, that's not a bad thing.
Yes, oo.
It's a good thing. For me, you go for what you want. And let's do that, right? We should do it.
Yeah. Medyo constant rin naman yun from the people we've talked to, not just with crystals, but with, when doing protection, when they do protection, when they do the white light, nandun rin yun, yung intention mo, tsaka you believe it, it's happening.
Yeah.
It's
And also, like, yun nga, like what I talked about in the podcast, it's really like a currency. Parang,
yes.
or like, let's say, just parang sweldo, ganun. Parang, saan mo magagastos? Pag-grab ka ba dyan? Milk tea, whatever. But it's really like, if you work hard for it, you don't see it, you don't see energy so much because parang for us, we mistake it as effort. We mistake it as like, oh, I spend time with my friends, even though I don't like hanging out
Yes.
with them because, so sayang.
Yes.
Sayang yung you could have put it in a more like, meaningful friendships or like friendships that you can learn from, parang ganon, diba? So yun, mga ganon. So especially when you get older, like people, like you narrow down the people around. So yun. So exactly the point where people try to protect their energy. So but kasi if you're also aware and you talk to someone and then it's like iffy.
Yes.
Bad vibes and ganun. So that's when you start telling yourself, protect me with like white light and ganyan, so that they don't have to get the energy, yung energy ba? Hindi
yung energy mo. Hindi masak. Oo nga. From Azzy naman, she asked na, which crystal goes together if you're making bracelets for personal use as a newbie? Azzy, ang question ba dyan is, tumbled ba yun? I mean, polished ba dapat yun? Hindi ko alam. Pero although kung mag-join sila ng crystals for, dapat kasi may purpose no? If you're gonna...
Yeah. Oh, is it like a question where I always get the question if you can mix crystals together. Good. So, alam mo, marami kasi in the belief of like mga feng shui, they don't mix crystals together because there are crystals kasi na parang let's say in the spot, okay, sabi ni feng shui master, dead spot to. So we need like clear quartz here to give it life. And then, that's it, right? And then, wag mo masyadong lalapitan ng grounding kasi parang kontra, di ba? Parang gano'n. But with crystals kasi, they don't know that naman eh. So, that's your intention. That's the intention you've set for them. So, now, you as the, let's say, the dweller of the home who has the crystal quartz in a dead spot, ikaw ang may alam. Di ba na, alam mo na, I know in my heart na sinabi ng feng shui master ko na this needs livened up or whatever. Ganyan. So now I put the clear quartz here, it's okay. But when it comes to bracelets, I've also seen like people put together crystals, but not exactly like opposing energies. Parang hindi negative positive. Para siyang hindi siya, parang let's say, if they put like clear quartz together and then they put like the most common thing that I've seen with some of my clients, they put a moldavite in the clear quartz bracelet. So now the intention is set because the intention there is that they have clear quartz to amplify the moldavite. So it's like that. So it can be mixed, right? So parang ganon. So it depends on the purpose and the intention, and I've always been about intention when it comes to like buying crystals or getting crystals or like making bracelets, Kasi parang, di ba, you see people, they just wear. I have a client, I kid you not, up to here, up to and everything. Talaga. And, and she's a doctor.
Okay.
Like a surgeon.
Oo.
So, like, it's all mixed. And she's like one of the best people that you talk to. Like, grabe. So, yun nga. Parang for me, I think it can be mixed. So, if you have a collection, just put it in one place. It's always about, for me, setting an intent. So, when they ask me, can this be mixed ba or whatever? Well, if you feel like there's a need for you to like, parang compartmentalize every energy or like every manifestation that you have for a certain crystal, then go ahead. Because that's a feeling eh. That's what the gut is telling you. So okay. Pero it doesn't really matter if they're together for me, as long as there's the intention of you write
nila.
it. This is for this and this is for that. They will just do their job. They will just But if you believe in that na parang nag-o-opposing sila energies, then that's what you do.
Yeah.
Yun. So I don't, parang hindi naman for me masyado, yun. Especially like, how much I'm exposed to crystals also.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, from experience for you na, you can tell na parang hindi naman necessarily kailangan ihiwalay or ilapit together.
Yeah, hindi naman. But I've had clients kasi na parang, in their living area,
yes,
they put together the crystals. Parang the living area is their common area. So if they always dwell there as a family, she puts the crystals together there that is programmed for the family. So it's
yes.
Oh, ganun. So kunyari amethyst, black tourmaline, and then blue kyanite. Yan lagi. So pag yun lagi yung parang pinagsasama-sama nila because amethyst is it's a stone of grace. So you want that in the family, you want respect in the family, and then protection. Of course, you want to protect everyone in the house, everyone who's living in the house. And then so they put it together with like a blue kyanite. So a blue kyanite is for communication. Because, that's for me.
Yes, for the family.
Yeah, these are the same crystals that I always answer when people say, Jen, do you have a recommendation? Because I'm gonna gift, I want to gift a crystal to a friend who's moving to a new home. I always say, give them a communication crystal because it's like the root of the house. When you have good communication at the house, everyone talks about everything, the problems, the wins and everything, and then it's more, the flow of energy is more synergetic, more parang mas which is like the heart of the home, right? So parang So very ano naman ako when I don't say you need this, and then sa kaliwa kailangan ganun. Parang for me, what is necessary for me is yun nga, good communication, protection, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, baka last few questions tayo kasi baka patapos na si Turning Red. Baka patapos na siya naguguluhin ka na ng kids mo. Pero sige. Again, let us know lang pero I'll go through the last questions. Hi, Miss Jen. I'd like to ask on how do you meditate with crystals? I think you answered this earlier.
Oh, a good question. That's a good question.
I've heard and read about programming crystals and talking about it, but I can't visualize how people meditate with crystals.
There are shapes. Ito na sa shapes now. So, there are shapes that crystals. That's why they come in different shapes, because usually people meditate with crystals. They want the shape to be like held. So it's not very practical, especially if you're like, sharing a bed or like, that you have something sharp there, or like, ganyan. But let me just grab one. Siyempre nagdala ako ng sample. So like this one. Like this is a shungite. So it's like polished all throughout.
Yes.
So for practicality lang, para walang masasaktan, sa polished crystal, you use like wag masyado yung parang you don't use something like this.
Yes. Yes.
So, but you can if you're sitting down again. So dun muna sa practical aspect yung answer ko. So you don't use a spirit like a amethyst or a spirit quartz if you're gonna meditate before you sleep. So yun muna yung mga common sense ideas lang. So now if you want to meditate with them, I suggest that you start collecting what is more comfortable for you to hold. Do you like bigger pieces like palm stone, or you like tumbled pieces? Or when is the best time for you to meditate? Is it like in your car? Is it during break time? Or ganyan, you don't want it to be obnoxious, you don't want to bring a big crystal or ganyan, diba? So any soft polished crystal that is you can hold, yan okay yan. So yun. So that's first, the practicality. And how to meditate is, for me, what works best for me is, I have, let's say, I have a cycle. Like, let's say I have a 2-week cycle, or like sometimes 40 days if I don't feel so crazy.
Yes.
So, so what I do is I have palm stones like that. So the palm stones, I put it beside my bed. So I have, let's say, this season, I have a palm stone, clear quartz, carnelian, and citrine. And then I also have a stromatolite. Stromatolite is like a fossilized crystal that's like parang first signs of life on Earth.
Okay.
So
stromatolite.
Yun. So those are like my rotation for these 2 weeks, because I'm aiming for like these manifestations, right? So of course the study of parang what do you call this, breathing really helps. So I breathe like 4 seconds in, and I hold it for 4 seconds, and then I exhale for 4 seconds. Now this is based on study that you basically parang you kind of wind down the chemicals of the brain. It makes you relax. It activates a lot of what do you call this? Parang relaxing chemical. So that's what I do with my crystals. So when I breathe, and then I meditate with, let's say, one in my hand. And then this is what I wrote it in my notes that I want, let's say, this citrine, not naman for abundance, but I want to be happy. It's a season of happiness for me. I turn next.
Advance happy birthday!
Thanks. I know it's been a good week for me. Like the podcast came out, and then most of my
Tatler. Nakita ko si Tatler.
the Tatler magazine came out. I think it's a good. These are all manifestations. You know, I wanted, I wanted more awareness, not in terms of like popularity, but more of like I just want to like spread the word that it has to be intentional. So, yun. So my manifestation and involve yung manifestation ko with my meditation usually. Ganon. So what I do is like, okay, I sit down, I breathe, and then the energies that I get from the crystal, I try to visualize. So I visualize it, and then I store it in my body until there's such parang siyang power, parang siyang gasolina. Mat- But but yeah, so ganon. And then when it comes to like just really calming down, there's so many breathing techniques. I listen to on Spotify. There's like you know, like if yun nga, parang di ba once, parang may makikita ka kanina na they're asking why are they so attracted to like nuummite, or they're
Yes,
attracted to like lapis lazuli, ganyan. There are playlists on Spotify. Before kasi talagang you have to research or like meron marami sa YouTube pero biglang papasok yung ad.
Ads.
So ganon.
Oo.
Yun. So I would say yun nga sa Spotify, you research the chakras. So if you're attracted to nuumites and it's on the crown, you listen to like a crown chakra meditation podcast. Sorry, like a song. Kasi parang oo nga, 'di ba? So it kind of like activates like the sound. It's like a sound healing naman. So together with meditation, it kind of helps. So it's like a binder. The crystal is like a binder to you, and parang ganun. So those are things that you can do, and then there are also guided meditations, which I love because I don't have to think. So may days talaga na hindi ka you need to meditate.
Yes.
But you can't think of anything, you can't think of the numbers of the breaths. You can't, you can't do those anymore. I would say to always just use guided meditation, and I use Insight Timer for meditation. So those are really good. They really have good So if you're like, okay, also medyo technical, let's say if you're attracted to, let's say, the lapis lazuli or the crown. So if you always get headaches or something, you listen to this music to release the I learned this from one of the best healers here, to release that energy. Of course, you can always drink medicine, you can always but if you feel like it's an energy problem, not like a physical problem, then you can start like clearing the blocks with music, with those kind of music. And then with crystals that correspond to like the block chakras. Let's say sometimes parang they connect, let's say they connect anger with liver, they connect they connect fear with kidney. So parang if that is the energy that you're kind of like harnessing at the moment, fear or anger, ganyan. You listen to those things, and then you use crystals that are good for the chakra, for this area, ganon. So when I think that's mostly like meditative, in a sense that you're kind of like doing your own healing.
Yes.
Right? But I always say nga to my clients, crystals are not substitute for medicine or medical advice, professional advice. So, but if you really want to like do something for yourself, it's very helpful because the will of the mind is so powerful. So, I think that's really like my takeaway when it comes to meditating with crystals. You also have to set an intention, but there's also a good meditation where it's just quiet, which is the hardest for me. It is really the hardest. Like
Bakit?
when you sit there, di ba parang yung I really tried. Like I would probably last a good 15 seconds of not thinking about anything. And that's really like a feat already. Like I used to I'm only like that before 3 seconds and then I'm like grocery. Oh my god.
Oo.
Or like
Yes.
ganyan. So or I get distracted by like, the most little of things. So, kaya yung mga nagme-meditate ng mga 20 minutes without thinking about any, galing nun. Sobrang ascended, sobrang they can control everything. So, but it takes practice daw eh.
Oo nga daw.
So yun. So hopefully yung nag-ask ng question, let us know kung makaabot ka kahit mga 15 seconds of thinking about anything.
Sabi ni Tammy, ngayon need magsanla ng kidneys para sa molda. Ang mahal daw.
Grabe kasi, like, Moldavites has increased in price like probably 6 times before the pandemic. So, ayun, ibang class.
So dahil sa source talaga, parang hirapan maghanap ng source.
Pahirapan talaga. Pero ingat kasi dami ding tumalabas na fake. Pag may ganyang trend, may ganun ding trend. So, usually, Moldavites are rough. When you look at them, it's rough on the outside. It's never smooth as a raw. Yun. So, it's always rough. And then, fakes now are priced very high para hindi masyado obvious. But if it's like 3 grams and then it's like only 5,000, that's very impossible. Ganon. So, ganon. And then, with me, I always carry gemstones. I always show the picture or like the video where it has all the characteristics of a Moldavite, even though it's polished. Because like they call it like commercially they call it like a reverse. Para siyang may line, parang flow ng water or bubbles inside, ganyan. So that's when you know it's real. Kasi hindi mo fake with glass. But ang daming Moldavites ngayon na sobrang ganda na fake. So be careful. But yun nga, parang kailangan magsanda. Ng kidney. Huwag naman. Yeah.
May magandang question si EJ. I'm not sure if yung mga suki mo na who are into the spiritual practice, is there a crystal that you can use to communicate better with your spirit guides?
There's a lot. Like, I believe they use like blue crystals, like angelites, what else do they use? Yun nga, indigo kyanites, like the dark kyanites. What else? Usually blue crystals, because blue talaga is really communication. But there are crystals that are like blue lace agates who are happy. Agates are usually like happy crystals, but it's good daw for ganyan, communicating with your guides. And then yun nga, mga specific crystals, if you're into like angels and ganyan, there's always like specific crystals for that. You can always like just ang dami ng resources sa internet about it, ganon. So, and then you can also, I think it's mostly, yun nga, I would say, find a quartz that has the shape of a channeler. So you can, it's very parang multi-purpose. Yeah.
Meron ka bang marirecommend na, kunyari, may Zoom meeting ka, tapos may toxic kang office mate? Ano yung pwede mong
Nako, dapat pala. Meron akong client na ganyan, na talagang she has like a lineup in front of her.
Okay.
So, tsaka yun, sobra siyang makrystal. So, meron siyang lineup lagi ng, like, depende sa meeting niya, she would always like use something that's black, but not always. Parang lagi niya sinasabi na, I always need something na to, board na siya sa Zoom. Ganon. So, kailangan niya na ng crystals for clarity, kailangan niya na for crystals for communication. Kasi, advertising siya eh. So, kailangan niya
okay.
So, sabi niya, but sobra talaga. It has come to a point na parang I need like I need something or else maiinis na ako dun sa kausap.
Oo.
So, she also blocks that energy. So afterwards, she really clears herself. She does like mga, alam mo na, yung mga cleansing and clearing. So she has like, what do you call this? Incense while doing her Zoom meetings, whatever, She even told me like, I don't know how to go back to the office without all this. But she has, I have a lot of clients who bring baby versions.
Oo.
Ganun. Galing.
Ano yung mga ginagamit nila? Sorry.
Usually ganun, usually
Black.
toxic na mga mga tao sa office, yung mga energy vampires or like ganyan. So it's amethyst, and then usually crystals for like productivity, which is like anything that's like yellow or ganyan. And then yun nga, mga confidence crystals, because that's what you need when wala ka sa mood mag-explain ng mga kailangan, mga ganun. So yun, and then selenites are also great.
Okay.
Selenites and black tourmaline is always good. So parang ganun. So I have a client who's like bought like, I have an 11-inch I think wand of selenite, and he showed me a video. Sabi niya, hindi na UV yung ginagamit ko sa office ngayon. Selenite na. Everyone's back in the office and the office is so toxic. So, hindi na daw UV wand. So I was like, oh, that's great.
Buti hindi siya nahahalata.
Alam na marami sa mga ganyan, alam ng mga office mate nila. That's why I feel like, when in the parang it becomes more toxic because you become the weird coworker who has like all these like
crystals on the desk,
stuff in the office, ganyan. But it has become normal. Like a lot of my clients, they started with crystals, and then their office mate started messaging me wants like this kind of crystal. So malapit na nilang ma-outnumber yung mga normal.
Yung mga wala, yung mga normies.
Ganon.
Mga normies. Okay. So are there any final questions for Jen before we let her go?
And then I also have like if there's so many burning questions about crystals talaga.
Yes, sige, go lang.
On my Instagram, I have like these highlights. The highlights, they have, I think, Ask Me Anything. I think
yes.
You can read that, and then there's so many weird questions there that you might learn from also. So, and I'm planning, I'm on a break next week. Again, diba? My clients are like, I'm gonna be on a break next week I'm gonna take a break to celebrate my birthday for a week, and also mag-election. So it's hard to deliver things usually pag mga ganyan. I might do a Ask Me Anything again.
Okay, sige.
It takes a lot of energy when people ask you a lot.
Totoo. Ngayon.
This one is better than Instagram. Because then they disappear after 24 hours. So I have to answer like fast. So now I have time next week. So hopefully it's an overdue thing. Yeah. Okay. I think my parting words is always like to be intentional with collecting your crystals, and then look into the raw crystals that you have, and then look at the resource that I posted on the baka meron ka ng ganyan. So, ganon.
And wag mag-hoard. Yun ang nakuha ko sa'yo.
Wag masyadong mag-hoard. If you wanna hoard, be intentional about it. Kasi ayun na nga. Ayun.
Para makatulong. Thank you, Jen. Thank you so much.
Thank you also. Sobrang saya.
So, thank you daw sa Okay. Anytime lang. Sige.
Yes.
Bye-bye, Jen.
Bye. I'll tell my husband to make me join the Discord.
Baka may questions sila sa'yo doon.
Yes.
Medyo maingay lang sila doon, warning lang.
Okay lang. So, pag di ako sumagot, yun na yun.
Yun na yun. Gets nyo na yun. Okay? Yeah. Sige. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Thank you,
Ingat. Thank you rin. Thank you. Good night. Okay, so at this point, we ended the conversation. But, of course, meron pa rin talagang pagpag-portion minsan after a conversation. So, here you go. A few more minutes of our conversation with Jen. So, may chismisan portion pa tayo sa mga gusto magstay. EJ, take the floor. Dala ko lang.
Hindi, yung pansin ko nga if I use the tawag nito, yung yellow na stone ko. No nga yun? No nga to, yellow? Sino nakakaalam?
Tiger's eye?
Tiger's eye. Oh, grabe focus ko. Pero at the end of the day, mainit ulo ko.
Yun.
Oo.
Totoo yun. Kasi meron, yun nga di ba parang sabi ko nga parang in my podcast, parang meron kasing ascension eh. May ascension na nangyayari, pero babagsak ka. So kailangan, hindi ka pwedeng mag-ascend kung hindi ka marunong mag-grounding. So pag, just, take a grounding crystal at the end of the day, parang ganun.
Baka yun nga, EJ, kasi madalas kang magsungit.
O baka talagang masungit lang siya.
Hindi, pag umaga mabait siya eh. Pag medyo hapon, medyo may sungit na eh.
Baka naman kape lang. Kailangan niya sa hapon.
Kasi might be because of the work that I'm doing. So yun.
Oh, pero matagal mo nagamit, di ba? EJ yung Tiger's Eye?
Yeah. Kasi my mom gave, hindi. Kasi nga last Chinese New Year, we decided to give each one. So my sister gave this to me, and then I gave the green agate to her. And then basta kaming tatlo na-exchange. Tapos my mom had the pure ganito. Sa akin may volcanic ash for me to ground in. So usually if I wear this, I get things done. But then again, at the end of the day, I get so parang tired and mainit lang.
Baka naman, maybe because you really get things done. When people get things done, they get tired, right?
Oo nga. Yun nga. So the energy is high. Yeah, the energy is high. But again,
the anger.
At the end of the day, it's like you're tired. But it's good.
I think what I learned from boundaries as well is that before I used to answer like when I'm awake at 1 a.m. and I would have inquiries, I would still answer. But then I don't have energy to following them. Like, bakit kaya? Ba't kaya tuwing umaga parang sobrang slow ko? And then I realized, I don't really set a boundary for myself because, I feel like sometimes I'm just compelled to answer questions or like it's a random question like how much is this?
Yes.
So yun. So now I had to change that. So sabi ko parang okay, bawasan natin mga 11 o'clock.
Late pa rin
11 o'clock. Ganun. But but kasi there are times kasi that you're more productive at certain times of the day. And I can't deny that I'm more productive at night. Because I talk to my suppliers at night. Baliktad yung oras.
Oo nga pala. Oo
I
nga.
get more productive that time.
Medyo stupid question, Jen. Pero ano yung pinaka nakakatawang inquiry na nakuha mo? I mean, yung parang talaga, tatanong nyo to? May ganun ka ba nakuha?
Oh my gosh. Hindi lang nakakatawa.
Okay.
For me, I think I couldn't laugh about it because it was serious.
Okay.
They wanted me to source a penis-shaped something. I think that's the most funniest. Parang for me, it's like the most, every time I would think about it. And I would see it like in gem shows, I would see them like, you know what happened kaya to that person who inquired? Were they successful in buying like, whatever they did? So, yung mga ganyan, may mga ganyan. Uh-oh. And I don't really laugh about it kasi parang sa kanila, they really need it. So, serious. It was a serious inquiry, ganyan.
Pero, follow-up question doon. Anong crystal yun ang kayang polished na ganun?
Marami.
Okay, marami.
All the quartz, those are like sturdy crystals. They don't have sediment so much. It can be polished, ganyan. So, madami. That's not just the end. Like, I've been asked about like yoni eggs. It's like something that you insert.
Yes.
Mga ganyan. So, people really need it. People really want it. I just don't carry it because I usually get by the kilo, and if only one would need it, I can.
Dami mong stock.
Anin ko yung marami. And I have a client who's a 9-year-old, and I don't want to be posting about. Baka magalit yung mom. So yun. Like my youngest client is a 9-year-old. girl. Yeah, she's a 9-year-old girl. And then for Christmas, the mom gave her, I think, 16 towers of different crystals because she really loves crystals. So that's her gift.
Baka super sensitive kaya kailangan ng madaming ano.
I
Hindi naman
think,
ganun.
Hindi naman. I think,
Okay.
pero meron akong mga clients na ganyan. Na sobrang sensitive yung kids. So I have one client always, I think the last thing that she bought because the kid wanted a lepidolite. And I think it's because the kid knows that she knows parang they couldn't sleep. You're welcome, everyone who's saying thank you at the chat. So yun, yeah, so mga ganun, lepidolite, meron talagang kids. Kids are, more open, I think. Kasi hindi pa sila tainted masyado ng normal na buhay with processes of things and everything. So I think they're more open. But if you just let them, hopefully, diba, they get into, I'm not saying that like a next generation of crystal hoarders, but more of like hopefully they get to learn about what are the benefits of this, or they can turn to crystals without people thinking that they're crazy.
Yes. Oo.
So, ganun. But in the States, it's so normal. Like,
Oo nga eh.
yeah. So, like the last time I was there, it's just like people put it in their bras. Like
Pero hindi ba mas sa LA lang? LA, New York lang yung medyo mga crystal
marami
hoarders?
din. Marami talaga. Like everywhere. I have a lot of friends, they're scattered all over and they just, it's not, like, even at their homes, they assign like a nice piece, like a decorative piece, but they assign like intentions for it,
Yes.
Kahit hindi sila sobrang deep into the crystal, ganyan. Kasi parang for me, yun nga, diba? I don't know, I think I always tell it naman to my clients. I started my crystal journey because I had postpartum. I started becoming serious about it. I had postpartum, depression, and then anxiety, all these like mental health issues that I have. And mga ganyan, parang I think it's very helpful. So I think people are becoming more conscious to like, yun nga, learning about crystals because there's that energy that they can, it's a great reminder actually when you have a crystal. Like, like EJ has a tiger's eye. Mas marami siyang na-accomplish, di ba? Pagod nga lang siya. But it doesn't just remind you that napapagod ka, but it reminds you as a person that, wow, I can accomplish things. You kind of look at that picture, di ba? Na parang, look at me accomplishing things. Look at that. Parang ganun. So, ganyan for me yung intention din ng crystals.
Ang timely lang, sorry. Alam ko dyan nagbahay na tayo, pero may question. Ang timely lang kasi may isang question na hindi ko na tinanong kasi baka, hindi ko sure kung appropriate. Pero na-mention mo nga na you started, well, you dove into it nung nagkaroon ka ng postpartum. May nag-question rin kasi actually, which crystal can give you energy when you are down or depressed? Parang,
Yeah, I think. Mostly anything that has parang lithium included. Like there are a lot of crystals that has like, there's a lithium quartz because lithium quartz, and then lepidolites has lithium, minimal lithium, and then so basically it's not just because when they extract this from the earth, they make it into medicine, and lithium actually is an antidepressant. So yeah, so mga ganon. So that's what they do. So that's what they use also. So kaya merong popularity ng lithium quartz the past few years. I think because everyone is condensed to the home. There's no social life, and so yeah, ganon. So and many passed away. So so may mga ganon. So yun yung ginagamit nila usually, mga lithium-based crystals. Astig daw, kasi totoo naman, yun yung ganon nila. So,
meron ka bang naging client na parang naghanap ng anti-kulam or anti-barang, parang ganun?
anti-kulam.
Anti-kulam na crystal? May ganun ba?
I think parang wala. Pero yun nga, meron akong mga client na mga lola, mga tita na talaga. Pero mostly they buy smudges. Ganun. But for the purpose of that. For the purpose of them, kasi parang merong nag-throw sa kanila ng bad energy or like kulam or ganyan. Siguro, I think it's, yun nga, parang yun nga, ritual ng mga Pilipino yan.
Yes. Oo.
So,
Papausok.
so I think it's mostly that. But crystals, wala pa naman. But diba parang I think in Chinese, they use coral. Mga
I'm
Chinese.
not sure. Alam ko medyo anti na-mention mo kanina eh. Black na stone.
Black
Obsidian. Obsidian
Yeah.
medyo parang against it.
Oo, ganun. Kasi di ba when you see like, you know when the babies, yung mga bracelet ng babies, when they're
Yes.
born, it's red and black and red and black.
Yes.
Di ba? Ganun. Because I think black is obsidian and then coral yung coral.
Ay, yung red.
Oo. Sign of life and then protection. So, di ba pag mahita ka, honestly, like when you see kids, they're wearing the black and red, it's like a symbolism of protection for the kid because they weren't baptized yet.
Yes, oo.
Or pag nilalabas sila, the parents or the lolas believe that it's a form of protection. Sabi sa iyo talaga tayo mga Pilipino, hindi talaga tayo malayo sa ganito.
Oo.
Sa mga paniniwalang ganyan. So, yun. I think nung bata ako, meron din ako nun. Although sa akin, I think plastic lang sa palengke or something.
Nandun yung intention. Nandun pa rin naman yung intention.
Nandun yung intention. So, yun. But I think yung totoo nun is coral and obsidian. Because I've seen some like, I have friends parang they ask me if I can source those. I said, I don't have a resource. Usually, I see it like in the really expensive. I see it like in like jewelry shops in Hong Kong. Di ba?
Yes. Oo.
For the kids. Ganyan. So, jade, Tammy said, jade raw po, protective din. Yes. Same as aventurine. So, aventurine is like, parang all around crystal din yan yung jade and aventurine. Prosperity and then protection. You know, but in the color healing energy, it's like centered to the heart. So, again, it's still a protection energy.
Pero harder to source ba ang jade? Hindi naman.
A real jade is really, like, kasi, parang when it comes to collecting, there's like always grade. The gem grade, the museum grade is really like the ones for the museum. So sometimes when I honestly don't throw those words around in my store because hindi natin ma-afford yung mga museum grade.
Oo.
So ganun. And also kasi let's say if you're the owner of a mine and then you found a museum piece, usually the mines, they donate it to the best museum they know. Kasi it gives them prestige.
Yes, oo.
Diba? To be able to send my crystals in a prestigious or like in a museum is really a prestige. So when you in the commercial term, when you say museum piece, it's really just a high quality piece. Ganyan. It's very loosely used kasi it's a perception of the person who's looking at the crystal as this museum piece for me or this is just like a high-grade commercial piece, right? So, ganun. But, yun nga, the jade that they use talaga for jewelry is like of the gem grade.
Yes, oo.
And you see expensive carvings of jade. Those are also expensive jade. And then you see like the commercially used jade.
Yes.
There's AA, di ba? Usually ganun yung mga system ng but it's all commercial grade. But yun nga, ganun mahal yun. Mahal yung jade kasi because they're very rare.
Yes.
Honestly, a good jade is very rare. So like how some materials. Like if it's more clear, it's more expensive. If it's less, it's a little bit cloudy, then it's a B grade, and then so yun. It depends on what budget your customers are looking for, and ganyan. So it's just based on that. It's basically all the commercial grade, but jade is very expensive. If you're gonna use it as a crystal, I would say just buy like a jewelry. Kasi at least you're sure na medyo ano. Kasi, and also, ano rin kasi kaya nakakatakot bumili ng jade kasi marami rin siyang fake. Diba? So yun, ako, I don't really dive into jade so much because hindi ko pa siya naaaral ng maigi. Well, bihira naman yung naghahanap sa akin ng jade kasi more on like crystal collecting, mineral collectors, yung kausap ko talaga. But if you talk to like mga proponents of like mga you know, feng shui,
Feng
mga
shui,
ganyan.
oo.
Yan ang ano, yan ang focus nila, yung mga jade, very good quality, amethyst, very good quality, citrines, ganyan. So, yun, at least napag-usapan na rin natin yung
Oo nga.
commercial and all. So, ganun. But in Clear Space, I try as much as possible to get the best bang for your buck. So, like the best quality. Pero, hopefully, yun nga, that's why it's really important to establish relationships also. Kasi when you source these things, hindi ka naman bibigyan agad.
Oo nga.
Like,
Kailangan ligawan mo pa, no?
Oo. May ligaw two ways eh. Parang sometimes ako, alam na nila na mahilig ako sa mga, especially yung mga kinukuhanan ko na mga mineralogist talaga. So yun, alam nila yung mga forms na mga hinahanap ko. So mini-message nila ako pag, okay, itong crystal na to, si Jen ang ano nito. Ito yung mga hinahanap nito, ganyan. Because I really have a lot of wait list for those kinds of crystals. So in the market, yung market sa Philippines, marami rin.
Anong malakas sa Philippines?
You know what? Gusto talaga mga Pilipino, rare. Big, rare. Ganyan. For the price of like, you know, some people, they don't really care about the price. I have clients like those, but some people we look for the right piece for them because, you know, they have a certain budget and it's okay to work with the budget. And then, parang ganun. It's really relative kasi sometimes to the quality that the person wants. Kasi sometimes, okay na ako sa ganito. Okay, sige, kaya natin humanap ng ganyan. But, or merong iba na parang very specific. I want a 2-light from Norway that is palm size. Ganon.
Oo.
Ang palm size, yung 10, 20 peso coin na kalaki na sphere na ganon is already $400. So imagine they want a palm. So ganon. Pero nade-deliver ko naman minsan. Yung mga mahirap. Parang nade-deliver naman. So yun lang, very one-off. So like last year, I think I had a client, I sold like 10 kilograms pyrite sphere. And then decided not to get it. But it was on the way. Once I posted it, it got snagged right away.
Ang bilis, oo.
Oo. People are looking for pieces that are really, they want to welcome to their home. So, and sometimes they want the best, you know. But if you're, but I would suggest if you're starting a collection nga, to be more intentional so that anything that you find, even if it's not good in the commercial sense, like in the grading, if you're gonna use it naman as a workhorse or like talagang mapapagod yung crystal kasi talagang mag-manifest kayo ganyan, it doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter kung anong quality ng crystal. Parang for me kung ano. And then eventually if you want to buy a better one or like a nicer one, then that's good. So, okay. But yeah, it all has grades and everything. This is like the business side of it, like the commercial side of it. Yun. But hopefully, like yun nga, in Clear Space, as much as possible, parang, yun nga kasi lagi ako nasa gem shows. Lagi ako, parang yung metric ko tumaas din, minsan nakakainis. You know? Kasi, mahirap din maghanap ng maliit kung gusto nila ng usually na crystal ng malaki.
Malaki, oo. So yun ang nagiging trend sa Philippines na...
Yeah.
Ganun.
I recently sold a citrine a 5 kilo piece that is a cathedral. So parang meron siyang formation ng parang cathedral, literal. And the clarity is ganyan. And then this is a vintage material, meaning it's from the old vein of a mine. So itong color na to is parang reddish almost. So mahal talaga siya na sa tin. So I sold it 6 digits. Ganong level. May mga collectors talaga na ganyan. And they really wait and they really... So what happens sometimes in Clear Space is that I have a list of those inquiries. And then once it gets here, I don't usually ask for deposits kasi.
Yes.
Not because marami akong pondo, hindi. I don't want to commit a crystal to a client that's pagdating dito sira, basag. Nahiya ako pag ganun. So, ganon. So, what I do is like, okay, pagdating dito, I usually have like a list naman of people. As much as possible. Yeah, and also like if you're more specific, the better. Kasi I can look into like once it arrives. So now, let's say you say, okay, I already have na. So I pass it on to the next person until ganyan. So, ganun nangyayari usually. Parang hindi rin kasi hoarding. Pero kasi ano naman, I think it's also like when you're collecting toys.
Yes.
So ganun din yung feeling. Meron ding part of you na yung itch na yun na na-scratch kasi nakikita mo maganda.
Yes.
Diba? Who are you gonna why are you gonna stop those people? You wanna be surrounded with beautiful crystals.
Last na, may magandang question lang si Silver. Meron bang relation yung size ng crystal to its effectivity?
No, I think it just matches your energy. Kasi I have clients who are tumbled clients. So they use this, like they keep it in their pockets. So it's really like pocket crystals for them. So depende sa match mo, depende sa ease of use for you, ganon. I think the clients that I have, but though I have clients, I have a client who likes big free forms, meaning like the soft polished pieces like oval, ganyan. Pero it stands because she doesn't want anything sharp in her room because she collects it and she puts it in her bedroom. So anything that's sharp, parang she believes that is too strong. That is too strong for the bedroom. So when she buys naman towers from me, which is like a more directional energy, she puts it in her like crystal altar. So she puts notes there. She has like a manifestation paper, and then yun. And then lalagay niya dun yung mga more directional. And then I also have a client who in the middle of her house has a collection of all spheres in a bowl. Like imagine 40, 50 crystal spheres in a bowl. So it's very decorative because she's an architect.
Okay.
So iba-iba talaga. Yung depende sa ease of use, malaki or maliit. Merong aesthetically, it's pleasing to them. So ganon. And I also have clients who are collectors of big raw crystals, and I also have clients who are thumbnail collectors kasi literal maliit na crystals they collect, and then they have like a nice showcase and it's all like thumbnail pieces. So iba-iba, but whatever you're attracted to. Like for me, I'm more attracted to not so big pieces, like mga for me tall na yung mga 4-inch, 5-inch.
So sa collection mo, medyo ganung sizes ang ano?
Yeah, and if you see my collection for someone who sells very nice crystals, it's very konti. Because nga I don't subscribe to the fact that I have to,
keep as much.
Unless it's really like a really good piece, a really good quality piece. Because I'm also influenced by yun nga, gem shows, yung mga ganyan. And gem shows, there's always like backstage pa. So parang ganun. Pagpunta ka sa gem show, mayroong front. And then pag alam nilang gusto mo yung mga malalaki, dadaling ka sa likod. Ganong level. So pag nakikita mo yung ganun, minsan nakakainis. Parang I'm so broke. Broke for these things. Ganon. So ganyan. So merong mga irresistible lang talaga na mga pieces na na hindi ko mapigilan. Like, but usually like small pieces, like a very collectible moldavite, which is also an investment in
Yes,
itself.
Especially
Mga
na 6 times nga, di ba?
Yeah, grabe. Kaya yung mga bumili sa akin ng 1,000 before, imagine 6,000.
Oo nga.
Wow. Diba? I always remind my clients though. Um, I remind them, like I just put it in my story. Hey guys, whoever bought moldavites for me 3 years ago, congratulations, your pieces are now 2 times, ganyan. Or like I also remind them, yung mga bumibili sa akin ng mga meteorites, to oil them, ganyan. Parang kotse, change oil.
Oo.
So, yan, kasi it rusts mga palladides nagra-rust. So, yan. So, even those little things, like, I always remind them, like, because I set my alarm for like twice a year to oil all my palladides. Those are like, meteorites that they rust right away because they're iron-based. So, it really gets to, it also boils down to knowing your crystals minerally. So, if it's orpiment, nakaka-poison, mga ganyan. It's not bad kasi parang when people say, uy, nakaka-toxic daw tong ganito, unless you inhale, like, you're trapped in with this crystal for like 3 hours inside a box, yes, you probably, but if not, hindi naman. So, mga ganun. So, there are crystals like that. So, it depends.
I think nasa Instagram mo yun yung parang meron kang series about cleaning crystals. Tama ba?
Yeah. Meron din. Yun nga, I always tell my clients, get to know your crystals as a mineral first so you know how to handle it. Diba? Parang, siyang pet. Parang, ganun. Parang, okay, if selenites are gypsum-based, chemically, they can't be wet. They can be, alam mo yun, mga ganyan, hindi pwedeng hugasan, ganun. But if they're quartz, sige, isama mo pa yan sa beach, isama mo pa yan sa okay lang, diba? But don't expose, like amethyst or smoky quartz, anything that has tint naman, you can't really put them under the sun. Imagine like these crystals are buried under the earth. So they're really not supposed to be exposed so much. That's why whenever crystals come to me, I keep them in boxes. I think that's what really takes up most of the time, is that storage for me is really important. Kasi we don't want the crystals to fade or ganyan.
The reason we asked kanina yung question ko rin yun if some crystals have guides or spirits attached to them. Kasi so yung mga antingero, yung mga ano pa ba term sa kanila? Or yung antingero, nag-anting-anting, or memotyanga. So, technically, either stones or crystals sila na merong special abilities.
Yeah.
Parang ganun. So, and
like, usually, what, I think locally, it's mostly like, what I heard of are like volcanic material.
Volcanic, okay.
Yeah. So mostly those that they find near, yun yung usually like I've been curious about it. Ano ba yung anting-anting? Parang gano'n. Ba't si Ramon de Villa daw, di ba? May ganun. Parang they said it's like usually like a volcanic material. They're very unique, so they feel like it has special powers. Parang gano'n.
Na-explain na sa akin to pero nakalimutan ko lang ulit. Kasi may nakausap kami antingero. May isa, locally, meaning naturally sourced. I'm not sure if yun yung anting-anting. So parang merong mga naturally sourced. Yung parang kwento ng iba sa amin. Nasa cave sila, nag-meditate sila doon, tapos it came to them. Hindi ko lang kung nakita nila or biglang nandyan sa harap nila. Kasi meron nagkwento sa akin, may na-source siya sa mall. Nasa mall siya, instinct or intuition told him, tingin ka sa ilalim ng table mo. Tapos doon niya nakita. Usually, sa kwento niya, polished stone siya or polished crystal. I don't know. Pero ganun. So, sorry. Na-amaze lang ako. So, naisip ko minsan, since ikaw mas familiar ka nga sa crystal, so baka pag pinakita nila, alam mo kung anong klase siyang crystal. Aliw lang ako.
But I also have clients who message me naman. Kasi mostly, galing pa to sa mom ko, tapos binigay sa akin years ago. Hindi pa ako ganito, hindi pa ako masyado into crystals. Can you ID this for me? Okay, I will try my best. So I also do that. And then, we have a small group of people. I made like a Facebook group. Hindi naman ako masyado, dun, kasi it's really like a community of other crystal collectors. So, hindi ako masyado, active. But I put up a status there, post all your crystals here that you want, parang identification. So yun, active sila. So they post pictures and then they're like, I think sis, ano yan, ganito, adventuring yan, or ganyan. So, yun. It's also a nice challenge for people to get to know their minerals. So, mga ganyan. I usually do that. And my clients know this. They always send me pictures. Miss Jen, ano to? Kasi binili ko to sa isang kahit hindi sa akin binili ko sa isang seller na parang bundle eh. Pero walang identification. Hindi masabi ni seller. Parang ganun. Parang ako, bakit naman ganun si seller? Bakit naman hindi alam yung binibenta niya? But yung usually naman, they're very basic crystals. So madali naman siyang i-identify. Though mas mahirap kapag yung mga pag polished mas madali, pero pag raw mas mahirap i-identify. Kasi pag polish alam mo na yun eh. Na yun
Parang isang look, basta pinolish naman yung isang klaseng crystal, alam mo na kung ano yung source niya na parang ganun.
I think there's one question here. Magkano po usually ang moldavite?
Ayun.
Right now, I think it goes about 2,750 to 3,000 per gram. So if you want 1 gram, then ganun siya kamahal. So 3,000. Before 1 gram is only like 900. I sell it for mga ganun. Like just maybe 3 years back. It's just high. As in taas. I think that's the only question I've seen here that I wasn't able to answer. Aside from magbenta sila ng kidneys.
Oo nga.
Yeah. And then yun nga sa mga resources, I think that's it. crystalgen.com is always a good resource for formations of crystals. So
I think nakatulong yun. So yun, thank you, Jen.
Thank you also.
Thank you for staying
so
rin.
much. Yes, thank you.
Okay, good night, everyone. Bye-bye.
And everyone.
Thank you again, Jen, for answering our questions. If you have more questions about crystals, you can check out Jen's page, Clear Space Manila. Like she said, there are a lot of FAQs there that she answers. I'll post the link to her Facebook and Instagram page. If this is the first episode you're listening to, you might want to check out our first episode with Jen, episode 84, where we talk about her beginnings with crystals and all that. If these kinds of stories interest you, you can also try starting with our first episode. If you have experiences that you want to share, you can email us at paranormalsph@gmail.com. We can also continue the conversation over at our Discord server. I'll post the invite link in the show notes. Again, if you enjoy this type of content, you might consider subscribing to the podcast on YouTube, Facebook, or Spotify. We have new episodes every Tuesday, 7 p.m. on Spotify, and Thursdays, 1:37 p.m. on YouTube. A big thank you to our Paranormal Patreon peeps and coffee supporters: Sunny, Jay, Z, Sherwin, Kay, and Leia. Thank you for all your support. Maraming salamat talaga. For those of you who might be interested in supporting us via Patreon or Coffee, I'll post links in the show notes. If you want to support the podcast in other ways, you can choose your favorite episode and send it to a like-minded friend, someone who will not judge you for your beliefs. Shout out to FCL Santos. Thank you for supporting the podcast. The Paranormal Podcast is engineered and produced by F90 Productions. I would greatly appreciate it if you leave a review on your preferred podcast platform. Pwedeng sa Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you are listening to this. All the likes, shares, and reviews, they add up. and help the podcast get seen and hopefully help people who are just opening up to this unseen world we are living with. Thank you everyone for listening. Please stay safe. Eto, LL, mabilis lang to. Busy lang, so maiksing-maiksi lang to. Naisip ko lang kasi pinapanood ko actually shinare ko yun sa Facebook, yung about Atlantis na feeling ni Bright Insight, tama ba? Bright Insight sa YouTube, feeling niya yun yung Atlantis. Based on several clues from Plato to, again, may mas specific doon, mas maganda pakinggan nyo. Pero anyway, makikita nyo yung setup ng mga city before, flat, pero wide, pero flat. Meaning, walang high-rise, di ba? Walang high-rise. And na-realize ko kanina kasi nag-drive ako around the city sa medyo mga CBD area. Tapos naisip ko, naging thing kaya, kasi kung imagine nyo yung Tower of Babel, di ba? Naging thing kaya after the deluge, after the Great Flood, yung mga tao parang kailangan taasan natin. Kasi kung malunod tayo, kung magkaroon ng Great Flood ulit, at least ligtas yung mga nasa taas. So naging inspiration kaya yun, naging push kaya yun for civilization to build higher structures para to avoid possible scenarios na magkakaroon ulit ng Great Flood. Unknowingly, syempre. Tapos syempre na-improve pa yung stability, na-improve sa earthquake, di ba? So wala lang, palaisipan lang. Maiksi lang, promise. Yun lang. Thank you, LL Peeps. Ingat po kayo.